Hi everybody, this is Joy at Red Pine Quilt Shop. Today we are talking about triangle rulers, and I want to talk about similarities and differences between rulers and ways that you can sometimes use a different ruler than what might be called for in a pattern, as long as the sizing and the markings work for the task that you're trying to accomplish. So let's start by talking about 60-degree angle rulers. 60-degree angle rulers are probably the first ruler that I would suggest most new quilters purchase. You find 60-degree angles used quite often in quilting projects. It's probably the angle that we see used most often in the quilting patterns that are out there on the market today. So the first ruler here is a very large 60-degree triangle from Creative Grids. I love the Creative Grids rulers because I love the built-in grip that they have on the back side. And this ruler is designed to cut 60-degree triangles from strips of fabric, from strip sets of fabric, and it will cut all the way up to a 12-inch finished triangle. So it's a very large 60-degree triangle. This is the same ruler from Creative Grids, but it's the 8-inch finished size. So it is same ruler, same markings, but a smaller ruler, a little bit easier to maybe pack and take with you if you're going to a class or a retreat. What you'll find though is that a project like a Christmas tree skirt is going to need the larger size ruler. A lot of other projects are going to be fine with the smaller size, but you get into some of those bigger things, you'll need the bigger ruler. The other two rulers that I have laid out are also 60-degree triangle rulers. This is the 60-degree diamond from Krista Mosier. The other ruler is the Hexenmoor ruler from Julie Herman. And all four of these rulers can cut 60-degree triangles. These two rulers, though, are designed to do other tasks as well. So you'll find that the markings are quite a bit different. They don't have probably as clear and easy to follow markings like you see on the 60-degree plan ruler if you are just cutting plain 60-degree triangles. This ruler is marked to cut those 60-degree diamonds, but you can also definitely cut 60-degree triangles from this end, and it is marked to cut those 60-degree triangles from a strip, just like that big 60-degree triangle kind of plain vanilla ruler that we looked at earlier. Same thing with the Hexenmoor ruler. This is designed to cut hexes and half hexes, but you also need to fill in between those with 60-degree triangles. So this end of the ruler, I'm just going to rotate this so the markings are readable to you, is designed to cut 60-degree triangles, 1.5 inch, 2.5 inch, 3.5 inch on up. Neither of these though will cut as large a triangle as that big Creative Grids ruler. So what's going to differ between the rulers is the size, how large a triangle they can cut, how clearly they're marked, if they're marked for that as their primary task, or if they're the ruler's marked as it's more of a secondary task, like these two, which, you know, like I said, are designed really to do diamonds and hexes and half hexes. The other thing that you will find on some rulers is that some rulers will be marked with the finished size. Other rulers will be marked with the cut size, because a lot of these rulers are designed where they're expecting you to be cutting things off a strip of fabric. So you would cut a triangle, rotate the ruler, cut another one, rotate the ruler, cut another one. And some of them will be marked with the line that you're lining up on your strip of fabric. Some will be marked with the finished size of the triangle, and others will be marked with the cut size of the triangle. So you always want to look at the tool that you're looking at and make sure you know if the markings on it are the finished or the cut sizes, because that will vary from brands of rulers. So when you're working with rulers and you're trying to determine how many triangles do you need to cut to make a circle with a particular ruler, what you want to always do is consider the size of the ruler and the angle of it. So a circle is 360 degrees. So if you're working with a 60-degree ruler, you can take 360 divided by 60 60, and that will tell you that you need to make 6 60-degree triangles to complete a circle. And you can do that math with any ruler that you have. If you want to make a circle with a 10-degree ruler, you're going to take 360 and divide it by 10, and you need to make 36 10-degree triangles to complete a circle. So you can always do the math on that when you're working with your triangle rulers. So let's take a look at a couple other sizes. This is a triangle squared ruler, and it is I also have the part of the Tri-Rex tool from Darlene Zimmerman. These rulers are designed to make what we call a triangle in a square. So they're designed so that the base is the same length as the height. So the base is the same length as the height. So when you cut a triangle with this ruler, you can finish it out and place it in a square. So there's a companion ruler for both of these that lets you fill in that side piece to make it a triangle in a square. So you've got a companion ruler, and you have the same thing with the Tri-Rex ruler. These are both designed so that that base is the same as the height. And if you lay these two on top of each other, you're going to see they're exactly the same size ruler. And the difference between these two, though, is the size that you can cut. So you can do a bigger block with the Creative Grids ruler than you can do with the Tri-Rex ruler. So depending on what you're making, you may or may not need to be able to do a bigger block size. So those two rulers can sometimes be exchanged, and you can use the other ruler in place of it. It all depends on what size block you're making. These are both 45-degree angle rulers. This is a spider web ruler. This is a 45-degree kaleidoscope ruler. They are both 45-degree angle rulers, so it takes 8 of these to make a circle. The one difference that you'll notice here is this has a pointed end, so you're actually cutting the point. This ruler has a blunt end, so you're going to cut that end off. So you will notice that on some of the rulers is different. Some will have a pointed end, some will have a blunt end. So let's take a look at this whole set of rulers that I have here. These are the smaller angled rulers. So we have two 10-degree rulers. We have a 15-degree ruler, a 22.5, and a 30-degree. So one of the things, we're going to start with the 10-degree. One of the things that you'll notice is quite different with these two 10-degree rulers. This is a 10-degree wedge ruler. It will not produce a point at the end. When you take a 1/4 inch off both sides of this, you are going to have a wedge that has a blunt end. It's not going to come to a point. So you will notice that on some of the rulers, they're designed to bring the triangle to a point, and some will only bring it to a blunt wedged end. This is a specialty ruler from Cheryl Phillips. Has a lot of different markings on it as well, because it's designed to cut some things for some of her patterns. So it has very different markings than kind of the standard 10-degree triangle ruler that I have beside it. That's just meant to cut various size triangles. We use a lot of these for Dresden plate projects. A lot of these smaller rulers, that is where they end up, is in Dresden plates. So one thing to keep in mind too with these rulers is many times when you're cutting with them, you're not going to be cutting at the very end. You might be cutting up here, you might be cutting up here, because you are going to leave the center of the circle open if you're making a Dresden plate project. So you're not always cutting at the end of the ruler, you're sometimes cutting in a variety of spots. And again, be careful to pay attention if you're looking at different brands of rulers to if those markings on it are finished or cut sizes, and how they are marked and where their starting point is. If they're starting from the end of the ruler, sometimes you see some of the rulers where if they're a wedge ruler like the one I just showed you, the markings won't start at the point, they'll start at the end of that wedge, so then the markings can be completely different as far as where you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inch markings. So this is a 10 degree, this is a very large 15 degree ruler. We carry this ruler in an 18-inch size as well. This is the largest version of this 15-degree ruler. We carry it in a smaller size also. I think it's a 12-inch size is the smaller one. 12 or 18 inches is the smaller size that we carry. This is a very big one. This is a 22.5-inch ruler. This is the 30-degree ruler. So with all of these rulers, you can simply take 360 and divide it by that number, whatever the angle is, and that will tell you how many you need to make to do a complete circle. So sometimes you'll see a pattern and people will have a question on, can I use a different ruler for it? If you have a different ruler that is the correct angle, it's 15 degree or 10 degree or whatever the pattern is calling for, you could definitely usually always swap those out, but you do need to pay attention to how they're marked. Make sure that the marking is similar. If you're grabbing a different brand of ruler to do a project and you're not 100% sure if that ruler has the same markings with the same starting point and marked with finish sizes or cut sizes, I would suggest you make a test block and see if your block is coming out to the size that you were hoping it would come out to. But definitely, look at the rulers that you have in your tool stash when you have a project that comes up and see if you have a ruler that's the correct angle. And sometimes you can swap that out. You don't need to have generally a specific brand of ruler, but you do need to have the right size. So hopefully this has given you a little better idea and understanding of how to evaluate the rulers that you have in your tool stash and know which ones you can exchange for other purposes when a different pattern comes your way that you want to make. Thanks for joining us today.